everyone, it's Angelina, but you can call me Annie. And today we're going to be talking about how I think America can come to a compromise on abortion. Um, and so, how we're going to do this is I'm going to do like a little bit of background information that I think is relevant. And then I'm going to talk about how I think we can get to that compromise. And then I'm going to share my personal opinions at the end just because depending on the person, it may or may not be relevant, but I think I just want to make my intentions clear by sharing how I personally feel about abortion. So, yeah, there will be timestamps and stuff, so you could just skip to whatever area that you think is important. This title, or this video in general, might be confusing to some because most Americans do think that abortion should be a constitutional right. When I talk about compromise, I'm talking about compromising with those states that have already passed abortion bans. This might seem like a non-negotiable to some. Some might say like abortion rights should be granted to everyone. And I agree. I'm going to get more into my personal views later. I agree. I am pro-choice. But I think what's more dangerous than banning abortion is not implementing safeguards in those states that have already banned abortion, because I don't think there's any talking to them. I don't think there's any convincing them. So I think right now is time for action. That might seem a little ironic because, like, I'm literally just talking. In this video, I'm kind of sharing my own wishful thinking because, quite frankly, I don't have the power to change how abortion bans are handled at the federal level, just me individually. So this is just more like me sharing my ideas. So yeah, I hope that kind of clears up a little confusion that you may have initially had. So what I'm going to introduce to you is a bill idea I've had since 10th grade. So in my 10th grade history class, we had an assignment where we had to create a bill, and then everyone in the class had to vote on it. And so this bill I'm about to talk about, I don't know if there's any other bill out there, or probably someone has introduced this before, but this is just my own version of that bill. So I introduced this bill and I got everybody in my class to vote yes on this. Everybody liked this idea, even people that were pro-choice, pro-life. I mean, I live in a very conservative county, so I'm guessing that most of the people in my class were pro-life, or at least a good amount. And that was a hard thing for me to do, because there were a lot of like divisive bills that my other classmates introduced. Like there was this one guy who had a great idea for like funding for I guess our next pandemic. Hopefully we don't have another pandemic, but like funding for our next pandemic so that we're more prepared, because this time around we weren't prepared. And not everybody even voted on that. So I was kind of proud that I got everybody on my side in this one. So that's the context of this bill. Now I'm going to talk to you about the bill. I call this bill the It Takes a Village bill, and you're going to see why. So since abortion is no longer a constitutional right, states have the right to ban abortion. And I think it's harder to fight for abortion to become a constitutional right again than to fight for what I'm about to outline in this bill. So, in the It Takes a Village bill, it makes it so that states that don't want to ban abortion, okay, that's fine. you do your own thing. But for the states that have banned abortion, it makes it so that they are responsible for the people whose lives they have just impacted by banning abortion. If you, as the state, are making the choice to step in and make a decision that should only be the parent's decision, you should also be responsible for the outcomes of that decision. You are responsible for that person's health and that child's health, because they shouldn't be able to say, okay, have babies, but I'm not going to take care of them. I'm not going to give you fair parental leave. I'm not going to give you free childcare. Basically, I'm going to let you suffer, but at least you're having a baby and that's it. I don't think that's right. And I think a lot of pro-life people would understand that. This is why I'm very enthusiastic about this bill. Here are the things that should be mandated for states that have banned abortion. I don't know how realistic all these things are. I'm not very educated in like funding and things like that. So if you are a person that's educated in this and you're like, girl, that's not gonna work, or that is literally impossible, I'm sorry, okay? I'm just, again, this is wishful thinking. So if it's literally impossible, I'll back off. But yeah, these are just ideas. Free and effective and simplistic healthcare. There should be free counseling services for parents and children. Just because, again, like, there's a lot of factors that go into raising a child, especially a child that you just weren't prepared for. That makes children more susceptible to abuse. It makes them more susceptible to poverty. It makes them more susceptible to a number of things. Parents who have children that they are ill-equipped for are the direct or indirect cause of bad things. If you want to see crime skyrocket in the next decade or 2 decades, ban abortion. And I would bet on that. Ban abortion. If you want to see drug use skyrocket, ban abortion. If you want to see most terrible things skyrocket, ban abortion. Foster care improvements. I think it's common knowledge now that there is an issue with abuse in the foster care system. And so for anyone who cannot terminate their pregnancy, but they are choosing to put their child up for adoption, they should be confident in knowing that their child will be okay. The next thing is reformed sex ed. I think this is like common sense. If you, as a government official, think abortion rates are so high in your state that you want to ban abortion, then let's start at the beginning, okay? If you don't want people getting abortions and you decide to ban it, then it would make sense to also destroy the need for abortion. Sexual education in these states should be reviewed by sex education experts specifically, to know if it is relevant. Just saying don't have sex, just saying wait till marriage, that's not gonna cut it. You need to be telling people, because people don't wait till marriage. You need to be telling them how to use a condom, talking about birth control, things like that. Contraception should be free. I know that might cause an issue for corporations who produce contraception. So most likely the state will have to pay for the contraception, or the state will have to create their own contraception. And that really ain't my business, because you wanted to ban abortion, so free childcare, free lunch for all kids. I was editing the video and I realized that my reasoning for some things wasn't very concise. And so I just wanted to, and some of my reasoning was weak too, so I just want to clear some things out. The reason why I think there should be free lunches for all kids is regardless of somebody's economic status, a child may be going through something at home, situations of abuse where they aren't being fed. I don't know how common those are, but I think states have the funding to care for all children, regardless of how well-to-do their parents are or not. And yeah, I mean, regardless of my reasoning, where I think that we should try to look out for children who may not be getting food at home, even if they are rich, even if their parents are rich, I still think we should just always, the goal should be to always care for all children as much as we can, and I think free lunches for everyone is something that we can afford. I think that there should be housing vouchers specifically for people in that state who are parents. I wanted to also get more specific about the housing vouchers thing for parents. I don't know if this is already something that's done. I feel like it's too good of an idea for it not to have already been done, but what I was trying to say is that I think that low-income parents should take precedent over young, single low-income people. When it comes to like an elder or a veteran or something like that, I don't know, but I do think that low-income parents should be a high priority. I don't know how high, but they should be a high priority when it comes to getting affordable housing. This is something that I try to tell like my fellow educators and child care workers, anyone who cares about children. If you care about children, you have to care for their parents. And you have to care for their teachers as well. But it's crucial that you care for their parents because their parents are their first teachers. So there is no, oh, they did this to themselves, they deserve it, these are the consequences of their actions, because if you let a parent suffer, you're going to make a child suffer. If you really care about them, if you really care about kids, you have to care for their parents. You know, a lot of people who argue against like the pro-life ideology use a lot of science to back it up and stats and things like that. I'm not a really big like I'll never argue with science. I'll never discredit science. But all I'm saying is that that's most of the time it's not the basis of my argument. Most of the time it is emotions and how other people feel and what I have seen happen. And even what I have not seen happen, but what I've heard happen. So if what I'm about to say is not enough for you and you're like, facts don't care about your feelings and, you know, you want to go back and forth, I'm not going to do that. I just don't think it's possible to justify bringing a child into a life of suffering, or at least an early life of suffering, but you can't morally justify terminating a pregnancy so they can avoid that suffering and so that their parents can avoid that suffering. You know what I mean? I don't think that's possible. You know, you have to be okay with both. If you're okay with someone having a baby that they're not ready for, and that baby most likely being born into poverty, or that baby having to be given to foster care, or that baby being born to parents who resent them for even being born, if you're okay with that, then you have to be okay with someone wanting to terminate their pregnancy so that they have a better life and so that they won't expose their child to unnecessary suffering. Yeah, that's the shortest explanation I can give because I'm not gonna go any deeper than that. And if you think that discredits my argument, girl, I'm not trying to argue. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of chill today because I'm tired. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching my video, and I will be posting again soon. Actually, that's a lie. I don't know when I'll be posting it. Okay. Goodbye. Okay.